Hello, Mike. Well, I know you personally.
Well,
So go ahead and tell everybody your full name
my name is Michael Felix Delval.
and where were you born, sir?
I was born in Youngstown, Ohio.
And what nationality are your parents?
My mom and my dad are both from Puerto Rico, Puerto Rican.
Okay. So growing up, is that a Hispanic? What would you consider that to be a Hispanic culture
Oh,
or a Latin American culture?
Hispanic.
Hispanic?
Definitely, yes, Hispanic.
So for those people who may not know what Puerto Ricans are, is there a derivative?
Oh, yeah, they're inbred from Spaniards and African Americans, Africans. There's interculture, from the slaves and all that.
Okay, okay. So, what were some of the values that were given to you in the Hispanic culture during your youth?
As youth, it was respect, and strive for what you want. That's what I was my culture as growing up as a kid.
So, the sense of values that your parents instilled were to be a hard worker.
Correct.
So, it appears that maybe working hard. Well, did those values also? Did you have any siblings?
Yes, I have three other brothers.
You have three brothers, so you grew up in a household with four men and one woman, essentially.
Let me back that up.
Okay.
My mom left me when I was 5.
Okay.
Okay, so it was just my dad and 4 brothers.
Okay.
Yes.
So then it was a house full of men then.
Yes.
Okay. So, is there a cultural norm or is there a cultural perception on women in your culture?
Yes. It was always with my grandmother and my aunts. And as we were growing up, it was the respect that we gave to our grandmother and to our aunts. But at the same time, is in our culture, women's always, do as the man told them to. You know what I mean? And it's hard for me to accept that. Okay, as growing up as a kid, and, as growing as an adult right now, is I look back at that. You know what I mean? And my opinion is that we're all equal in this world. Okay, I respect females, women's. In my life, I totally give them nothing but respect. As I was growing up, I seen the different culture. As we get older, the time change and everything with society now is I see it more freely that we are treated more equal now than before.
What year were you born?
1961.
So things were a lot different then in 1960.
Oh yeah, the culture. I was raised in Ohio, and it's what you call the ghetto. Okay, at the time is the depression, the steel mills closing up. China overdoing. All the steel mills were getting closed up. So we're going through that change at that time. Yes.
So was it tough on your dad in those circumstances, taking care of you four boys?
Oh hell yeah. Oh yes, it was definitely. As we were growing up, and I remember that my dad worked long hours, okay, and trying to raise us, it was hard, okay, because you got 4 boys, and it's not easy to raise 4 boys, especially you're full, your energy, and yes, I give a lot of credit to my dad.
Were there any values that he instilled in you guys specifically that stood out to you, like now as you look back on your life and you're older and you, assuming you have children of your own, and you go to raise your children, are there values that your father may have instilled in you that you pass along? Well, cultural values in particular.
Oh yes. We, as kids, as I remember, as clear as yesterday, was that when you did something, you did it 100%. Okay, you just didn't do a job half-ass or 60%. Okay, and then that always stuck with me. And if I seen or if I did anything half-assed, my dad made me go back and do it again from the start, not where I stopped halfway, from the beginning. And from there to this day, I use that, and still in the back of my head, as he told me, as clear as bell, like yesterday. It's the weirdest thing in life, you know what I mean? I look back at that, you know, my dad's still in the back of my ear. No, do it again, okay? And that's still to the day, and it's probably why I am successful in life right now. It's because I don't do things halfway. I put 100% in anything I do. No matter if I like it or not, I do it.
It's wonderful. What was your education like growing up?
My education, and this is hard, I was raised in a neighborhood which were probably 80%, 85% black, probably 10% Hispanic, and probably 5% white. As I was growing up, I was having issues trying to focus in school. I was always getting bullied or trying to get beat up, and I couldn't handle that. I dropped out of school in, I think it was 10th grade. The reason why is because, no, I take that back. It was 9th grade. My dad drank a lot. Okay, he was an alcoholic, very abusive. And he came home drunk one day and decided to beat on me, and I couldn't take no more, so I left home. And I never returned. So I've been on my own since 14, 15, I think it was. It's probably 8th grade. I can't, you know, it's really way, way back then. I left home and never went back. So I was homeless there for 3 months, lived in the woods. I worked odds and ends here, gas stations, you know, cleaning grass and stuff until I got a place. I think that was the start of me doing my hustle. Okay, if I needed to eat, I had to work. If I needed a place to live, I needed to work. If I needed something, I needed to work. Since 14, I've been working.
What type of jobs did you have? I mean, like that led into, what type of jobs did you have that led you into the career field that you're standing in currently?
None.
So your previous jobs were medial, run-of-the-mill type of jobs, just jobs basically to get paid?
To survive,
Okay.
to live, to eat. You know, we had harsh winters. I worked for a painting company. I worked at a gas station. I did landscaping. I did whatever I needed to do, and whatever I needed to survive, that's what I did.
Nice. Nice. So culturally growing up, do you believe that your culture had any influence on your work ethic or your desire to hustle, as you would have put it, to do whatever was necessary? Do you believe that your culture had anything to do with that, or do you think that that was something that like was just you, all you with inside yourself? Was that just drive, determination, you know, not to be in a position that you had grown up in or something like that?
Yes, I think it was the drive, okay, to be where I'm at, okay. I have raised my kids to learn that, you know, things aren't free in life, okay. And so I have very successful kids, 2 in college, 1 in the Marines, and 1 at home, okay, that wants to be a surgeon. I don't give them anything. I make them earn it. You meet my thing, my logo at home is you meet me halfway and I'll meet you the rest. We have our, you know, our downs and ups. My culture in my community, where I was raised at, was a lot of my friends are still at the same place they were 30-something years ago.
Meaning they are still
alcohol, you know, drugs, and, you know, being around the corner, deadbeats. And I did not want that. I wanted to succeed in life. I wanted more in life.
Were there a lot of people from the Latin American culture that you saw growing up who were abusing alcohol? Were there lots of people who were struggling maybe emotionally or in some other way to cope with or deal with whatever it was they were faced with at that time? Is
Oh.
that what was going on?
Yes, definitely.
So would you say that you were subject to small dosages of alcohol and drug abuse from a young age?
Oh yes, definitely, because that's
And-
all it was. It was, every corner was an alcohol stand. I mean, the legal age to drink was 18. There was nowhere to go to get educated, unless you have financial backup, and we didn't have that. Okay, it's not like now, where you're in the United States and California, where the government, pays you to go to school or funds you to pay to school. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that when I was a kid. It was hard at the time.
Right. I can understand that. I can see how that'll be. So, where we met, for those who don't know, we met at the junior college level over in Lake County. So, how did you get to California in the first place?
Okay, let's start from square one. At 18, I decided to get out what I needed to get out. My friend was heading to California. I had $50 in my pocket, which I saved for 6 months.
Okay.
Doing my hustle, cutting grass, doing yard work, doing
Mind you,
painting.
$50 at this time is like
it was
this
a
is
lot
worth
to
some
me.
money. Like
Okay.
this isn't $50 like
No,
today, right?
We're
Okay.
talking about 30-something years ago.
All right, so then
Okay.
we're roughly talking about your $50 probably equates out to somewhere around $250, $300 today's standards.
Correct.
And you're gonna travel from here we are,
Ohio to
all the
San
way
Diego.
all the way to
Yes.
California.
Yes.
Like that's a big jump for
Oh,
an
yeah.
18-year-old kid.
Yes, and I did it. Okay, but from there, traveling from state to state, breaking down, trying to work, trying to get parts, trying to work this out. I remember we had a flat tire. The guy, he had me clean his goddamn shop. You know what I mean? 2 days for a goddamn tire, but I did it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Whatever's
Because I
necessary.
had a goal.
Right.
You need to set goals in life.
Right.
If you don't, you're gonna be in the same place.
Right.
So I came to California, $50 in my pocket. I went down to San Diego. I worked for Anodizing Place. I worked there for a year.
What kind of place was it?
Anodizing, parts.
Like car parts and stuff
yes,
like that. So
okay.
something familiar to Napa,
Correct.
Kragen, something
Okay.
like that.
I worked for there.
How did you get that job?
I went and hustle. I told the guy, hey, I need his job. I kept on bothering him
Right.
for a whole week.
Okay.
Then he gave it to me.
Okay,
All right. So I
okay.
did that for a year. The company shut down.
So do you think that he denied you? Don't mean to interrupt, but do you think he denied you early because of your culture? Because maybe you were Latin American and you
And-
were coming to the West Coast. Maybe you
And,
had
and
a
it was
funny
because
accent.
it was mostly white people working in this area.
Okay,
Okay,
right.
and I was young. Okay, and yes, it was hard. You know what I mean? We're in San Diego. You're talking about all the Hispanic and Mexicans and everything in there. But when you went into this place, which was subcontracted through the our government,
Okay.
doing parts for the military,
Okay.
they're all white in there. But as soon as I got in there, I started from nothing, and I ended up somebody. Okay.
So in this particular job field, I'm glad that you opened the door for this. In this particular job field, was it tough to move up in ranks because of the fact that you're Hispanic, or do you think that the people on the job treated you a little bit differently because you were Hispanic, or did you find out that there was no bias at all, that they respected you for the work that you did and things of that nature?
At first, I felt that friction.
Okay. How did you deal with that? How
I
did you
dealt
deal
with
with
it.
that
I
friction?
try to be positive. Okay. I try to prove to them that I am just like they are. It's not my color. It's not my background.
Right.
It's not my my speech impediment that
Right.
I have because I spoke 2-3 languages. What I learned is that I worked, okay, and I put 100%. And that's where they treated me differently and equally. Okay, after they see my work ethic, as I work together with them,
Right.
I treated them with respect.
Right.
Okay, and I treated them like human beings, like I wanted to be treated.
So do you think they stereotyped you in a sense because you are Latin American, you are in San Diego, this is the southern tip of California, right across the border is Tijuana. So I would assume that they had been dealing with Hispanics coming in and out looking for jobs and things like that, right? So do you think that initially you may have been stereotyped or seen or viewed as potentially one of the wetbacks from
Okay.
across the way?
At first, this is my opinion, is yes, I thought, okay. But at the same time is I try not to put all my effort into trying to dissect how they think about me.
Right.
You know, I mean, I am who I am, and if you like me, that's fine. And if you don't, then that's fine. Okay,
Right.
and that's something I have to deal with in life.
Right.
But what I learned is that you know, you got to put all that effort into positive things. And if you think that they're dissecting you because you're Hispanic, you're black, you're Oriental, Oriental or whatever, you know, you just got to take that energy and make it positive.
Right.
And that's where I
Right.
have developed in life, is being positive. I am who I am. I am Michael. That's badass.
Right.
Okay, that's where I look at.
Well, that's awesome. So in that job that you had, that you said that you held on to it for a year, did you end up moving up in the ranks, or did
Oh,
you
definitely,
stay at
yes.
the
I mean,
same level?
the first 2 months, I was, from the bottom.
So you were promoted, nice.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you were promoted
yeah.
relatively
And-
quickly too.
Yes, and to tell you the truth, this is not bragging. Every job I do that. Okay.
All right. It sounds
And
like a motivational
it's-
factor.
yes, my motivation factor.
Yeah, sounds
okay.
like a motivation
but at
factor.
the same time, is I train people underneath me. Okay, and I remember, it's just like yesterday. Matter of fact, one of them are still one of my good friends, is Mike Solani. I remember. Okay, I trained him, and he was Samoan. You know what I mean? But I treated him like my own brother. Okay, have him come over for dinner. We got together, we talked. You got to treat people right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now that you've gotten over to the West Coast and you've seen what this California's life is like, and it's been about a year, what was your next move?
I said, I got to move up. Okay. I had to.
right.
Okay. And then from there, I went and managed a 7-Eleven. I got a job offer at 7-Eleven after this company shut down. And I did that for a year. And then from there, I had a job offer up here in Lake County as a carpenter.
Really?
So I moved up to Lake County and worked for this guy.
Do you remember his name by chance?
Yes, his name was Gary Keller.
Do you know why he hired you?
Why he hired me? Because I bother him every day.
So this seems to be a common theme.
Oh, yeah.
Bothering people every day just to make sure you get
I
this
need
job.
that.
Sounds
I need
like
this job.
persistence.
Yes,
Sounds
I
like
have to.
persistence.
I give up 100. I mean, I'm a person if I put my mind to it, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's why I teach all my kids.
Absolutely.
Put your mind in, you can do anything you want.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So this carpenter job, talk to me about it.
All right, I did this carpenter job, and I never did carpenter work before. Okay, but he trained me. And I adapt. That's one thing.
Did other people work with you?
Oh yes.
So there was a group of you guys. You weren't just a solo guy.
No, it was a group of us, and Michael always did the dirty work.
Okay, so Michael meaning yourself. He's speaking
Myself,
about himself
yes.
in third person. Okay, I understand.
Okay.
So you did all the dirty work. Were you the only Hispanic on the job?
Yes.
So, all right. So talk to me about being the only Hispanic on the carpenter job that you knew nothing
Okay,
about.
being the only Hispanic Puerto Rican on the job, I didn't look at that. See, that's what I mean. I did not concentrate on, because they're making me do this dirty work.
Right.
I just did it.
But they made you do the dirty work nonetheless.
Yes, all the
So,
shoveling, all the heavy
Well,
rock.
looking back on it now, honestly, because we can be honest. Looking back on it now, if you had to categorize that particular boss, do you think that he stereotyped you and that he made you do the work that the Mexicans were going to do because maybe there were some other white guys who were on the crew who were white?
Well, okay, let me clarify that. I don't want to say Gary was racist or still tripe on me. What I've seen is he needed someone to do the job, okay, and the other guys were experienced, and I can live with that, okay, and I dealt with that, okay, but it took me probably 6 months to start moving up,
Right.
okay, and then I got me a ruler, started reading a ruler. All of a sudden, he had me doing, carpenter work.
Right.
Okay, so there you go.
Right.
But still, at the same time, if they needed something heavy to move, they always asked me to do it
Right.
because I was the youngest, and I was always willing to do it. I had to live.
So as a boss, now that you manage people yourself,
Yes.
do you think that he was utilizing your skills properly, or do you think that he was really filling you out?
I think he was filming me out.
That's what I figured. That's kind of what I would have assumed myself in that particular situation as well. All right. After you did the carpentry work,
I went work for Home State Mining. I was.
what did they do? So for anybody who
so
doesn't know,
let's go
who
this
Home
way.
State Mining
It's one
is.
of the biggest, largest mine in California.
Okay.
It's Home State Mining.
What do they mine?
Gold. Okay.
So there's gold in there. Yes.
Yes, in Lake County. What happened is I started working for RG. Okay, there was the opening. Someone told me, hey, there's the opening. So I went up and I interviewed for a job for doing labor. Okay. A week later, they called me. So I moved up here and I started working there doing labor, digging holes, putting fence posts in, me and 3 other guys. Yes, I was the only Hispanic at the time. And yes, I started at the bottom. Yes, at the end of the 11 years, I ended up being the foreman.
Okay. After 11 years, you ended up being a foreman, though.
Yes.
So it sounds like you started out at the bottom, even though you were Hispanic, and you worked your way up. So maybe culture didn't have anything to do with it. Maybe that's just the hierarchy of the job.
Correct.
It's not bad. How long did you work there? 11 years?
11
and
years.
what did you choose to do after that? Well, during your 11-year stay there, was there anything that stood out to you?
Oh, yes. What stood out to me is that we had a large population of different Mexicans, Indians, a lot of females on the job. And what I have learned there is that equal opportunity is hard for females on the job site.
Wonderful.
Okay, but I had to stick up for them. You know, if I had a problem and I seen a problem with anyone disrespecting a female on the job, I brought it up to their attention because that was my mom.
And this is going to be the next question that I asked. It's funny that you asked that. Do you feel like women, it doesn't necessarily have to be Hispanic women, but do you feel like women are treated differently in the workforce?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, I'm proven fact. I seen it. I've been there. I went through all these management classes. Yes, in the field. Yes, they get disrespected. All right. And I always, and I remember this, that I always, had talk with them. I always made sure that I didn't treat them, gave them favors, but at the same time have the same talk like I have with any male or on the job. Okay.
Did those Hispanic males that were under your supervision, or even the ones that you work with that were your peers and your coworkers throughout these years, were these men, the term machismo?
Okay, give me the definition of that.
The term machismo is, let me get that proper for you. I know I wrote this down for you. I'm going the wrong way. Machismo. Well, I'm going to have to wing it off the top of my head because I can't find the exact definition for machismo. But if I'm not mistaken, in the Hispanic and the Latin American culture, machismo is like being a man's man. It's
A male chauvinist?
Yeah, basically.
Yes, definitely. Now, but Mr. Jones, I'm going to explain this to you. It's not all Hispanics. Okay.
It's people,
okay?
period.
It's people. Period.
Right.
Okay. And it's okay to work in an environment and have your slang or your definition of certain things. But I learned that, and from experiences, that they were disrespected in the field.
Women, we're talking
Women
about.
were from not the Hispanic, but
Women.
you have your whites and your Hispanics and and all that. And to hate to tell you this, but we only have one black guy on the job, okay? Which he's still a friend of mine, okay? But he was awesome. He was just the aura around him. You could talk to him. He was always positive. His heart warmth, wealth, and everything there. And he's still a friend to mine to this day. After 30, 20, I think it's probably 15 years ago, we still friends, okay? We still see each other. We still give each other a hug. It's that respect. What I noticed on the job, it's because, the slang, how they hound women on the job, that bothered me, okay? So I had to stick up. I always had to say my piece. I always have safety meetings about disrespecting, on the job. I don't care who it was a female or a male. Yes, that was always on my agenda.
So it's safe to say then that machismo wasn't really a part of your upbringing, a part of your home.
No,
So
it was not. No.
that's in my opinion, in my personal opinion, from some of the people that I've talked to, machismo is still even big in the culture now. To
Oh
this
yeah,
day.
definitely. This
And the fact that you weren't raised underneath it, signifies maybe a changing of the tide or a changing of the guard or a moving forward to, maybe another state of mind or looking at women as equals instead of subordinates.
give them respect.
So yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, your perspective on machismo, it's shared by many, but maybe not so many in your culture.
No, it's not. Okay, and still today, if I go to a wedding or a quinceanera or anything like that, and I notice that the culture is the women's over here, the man's over here, and my ex-wife went to a party with me, and this is just reality, is that when we got to the party, the guy that was in charge of the party put my wife over with the other women's, which did not speak any English.
Right. Right.
She got offended, and I did not notice it because I was not thinking. Okay, I just was there to for the party. But as I was noticing her sitting over there and giving me the eye, I pulled her to the side, and she told me she was offended. It wasn't I did it on purpose, because it's their culture.
Right.
Okay, and you got to respect that.
You have to respect the
but at the
cultural
same time,
values,
it's like, okay, come on, honey, let's sit with me.
Right.
Okay, so yes, its culture is still to this day.
Right.
It's different, and I don't agree with it.
Right. I understand that. So, after you worked at the gold mines and you experienced all these type of things, what'd you do next?
Well, after the gold mines, can we put it on pause for a minute?